Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, bringing you guys another Boruto Naruto Next Generation discussion. Today, I wanted to address something I've seen quite a bit following the last manga chapter, where we got the huge plot twist that not only reversed the lives of Boruto and Kawaki, but it even made people who hate Boruto suddenly become fans of the manga itself. As we gotten further away from the release of the chapter, I've seen a growing number of people say that this plot twist that we got, it was bad writing and it wasn't foreshadowed, and I strongly disagree with both points for a few reasons. And in today's video, I want to explain exactly why I believe people miss some of the foreshadowing in the build-up to this current plot twist that we had with Ada's overpowered Shinjutsu and what it was able to do. For this video, we're going to be using some of the information from the anime, which, despite what that online filler guide tells you that everyone seems to reference, as we were told years ago by Ikimoto and some of the writers for the anime, and most importantly, the Shueisha editor who is attending the convention where that statement was made, Boruto's anime is a parallel story meant to explore in detail what the manga can't due to the monthly schedule, so we are going to factor some of that in. But most importantly, we're going to be using folklore and Asian mythology that was used to directly set this up as well, because as we discussed in the channel in the past with stuff like Ishiki's powers and things like the Otsutsuki clan, there's Asian folklore that directly connects to what we've gotten with character interactions, their names, and their powers. So jumping right into it, we're going to start off with the mythology and the folklore aspect, because that's a writing signature of the current writer for the manga, Naruto series creator Masashi Kishimoto. In particular, we have to look at the Jaku story. So longtime viewers of the channel know that shortly after Kishimoto was announced as being the one responsible for the story drafts from the Baryon Mode chapter onward, I started sounding the alarms when I saw Kawaki and Amado's interaction and his strong but very subtle urges to Kawaki to take back the Karma Seal. I said that there was something giving me the vibe that Amado was being used to mix two different types of mythologies together, something that the author did constantly throughout Naruto, hence why I repeatedly say it's never been a beat for beat retelling of historical or mythological or folklore or religious stories, but it's always adjusted to the story itself being told in the manga. Well, one aspect of Amado that we know for certain has one of these ties is the Sai the Japanese river for the afterlife, and the story of the children whose souls are stuck in limbo and protected by that being known as Jizo. Amado wants to revive his dead daughter by placing her soul into the physical clone of his daughter, that is Delta, and use Kawaki's Karma Seal. The other thing I brought up was that Amado gave off the vibes of a creature known as the Jaku, and my reason for this was that Amado was being telegraphed as having a strong interest in Kawaki's body, him taking back the Karma Seal, and the words that Amado used when describing Kawaki still having access to Ishiki's power, where he described it as a house with furniture inside of it and that Kawaki just needed the key. However, what we missed when we discussed all of this was just how much the Jaku stories are being reflected in both Amado and Kawaki. It wasn't just one person serving as the Jaku, they both were being served as the Jaku. So allow me to explain by going further in detail into the stories themselves and wrapping it back around to what we got in the Boruto manga. So in Japanese folklore, the Jaku is a wicked creature. In the mythology, it's a demon that does wicked things. In particular, it looks into the darkest corners of a person's heart, sees their darkest desires, and manipulates them into carrying it out. Kawaki's Karma Seal returning came as a result of Amado taking advantage of Kawaki's helplessness to protect Naruto, with him planting the seeds for Kawaki to want the Karma Seal once again as early as the battle with Baryon Mode Naruto versus Ishiki, using very specific language in order to put the thoughts and the desires to take back the Karma Seal itself back into Kawaki's mind. Just as the Jaku in some mythology stories played on the fragility of the human heart and mankind's strong desires, so too did Amado in the situation. That's why in Shinto mythology, the Jaku is called a perverted demon, because it's able to see into the hearts of others. In another story, the Jaku is the antagonist of a dark story where a young girl was born to this elderly couple that devoted on her like crazy, giving her everything that she ever wanted, to a point where she could be envied for having such a favorable life filled with love and affection. The Jaku tricks the young girl into letting it into her house when her parents aren't home, where the demon rips off the girl's skin before devouring her. And here's the important thing: the demon then goes on to wear her skin and pretends to be her, fooling all those who are around her. Look at what we just had with the latest manga chapter. After Kawaki had his darkest deepest desires used by Amado to reawaken the karma seal. Kawaki just happens to literally trick everyone via Ada's Shinjutsu to switch places with Boruto, where he's literally pretending to be Naruto's son by having their memories swapped into thinking that Boruto is the demon who killed Naruto, and Kawaki is the much doted upon and beloved eldest son of Naruto. While Kawaki doesn't literally wear Boruto's skin, he is symbolically wearing Boruto's life. A life which Kawaki deeply wanted deep down in his own heart. Kawaki's deepest desires are what directly triggered this power in Ada, which caused the massive jutsu to be unleashed globally. Going back to Amado, who implanted Ada with Shibai's DNA, which gave her the power to use this Shinjutsu. It was Amado that did this. What did Momoshiki say about Ada's ability in particular to control hearts and captivate humans? It comes from her own subconscious desire to be loved. Just like the Amenujaku would see the deepest insecurities of the human heart and take advantage of them for its own goal. Amado gave her that DNA while trying to turn humans into cyborgs who could kill Jigen once he found out about the plan that Jigen had once he found a vessel for Ishiki and harvest a chakra fruit. Amado might not have known the impact of what he did with Ada if Momoshiki is indeed correct about that, but the action itself, whether intentional or unintentional, is still that of an Amenujaku. It also makes the line spoken by Naruto, Boruto's own parent, in Boruto chapter 65, where Naruto literally calls Kawaki a demon. It makes it stand out even more. It was foreshadowing of Kawaki fulfilling the other part of the Amenujaku. Notice how Naruto throughout the entire series never called Kawaki a demon until after he tapped into his deepest desires in his heart and reawakened the karma seal via the marker Amado planted onto him, with Amado knowing exactly what the trigger needed to be to reawaken the karma seal itself. When you take this plus all of that extended time Uzumaki household was both Naruto trying to save Kawaki by showering him with love Naruto thought would be needed to save the soul of a young boy, because Naruto is projecting his own upbringing onto Kawaki and not seeing things clearly. However, Kawaki, the longer he was there, we saw signs that he was getting obsessed with Naruto, with Shikamaru and Amado even taking note of it, which in of itself is tragic because Kawaki went from one extreme in an abusive father to another extreme with the adopted father in Jigen, who basically tortured him daily, to another extreme of being showered with love by the Uzumaki family for the first time in his life. Kawaki, to a degree, what did he do to deserve someone like Naruto? Which is why Sarada told him that she used to wonder what life would be like if Naruto was her father instead of Sasuke, and she came to accept that this is just who Naruto was. He loves everyone like they're part of his family, but for someone who goes to one extreme to another extreme like Kawaki's deepest and darkest desires, they wanted more. When we look at the anime, think back to how many times we saw Boruto and Kawaki where they remade the iconic scenes in the old Naruto and Naruto Shippuden openings, with at one point it being so bold that we saw Kawaki and Boruto where Boruto was covered in blue while Kawaki was covered in a reddish tint, just like how Naruto and Sasuke were, with their poses being nearly identical. During that time, Sasuke himself was a rogue ninja outside the village on his own, in the sense that his connection to Konoha was gone, just as what we're seeing here happen with Boruto. The openings where we see Boruto literally running away from those in the village and making his way towards Kawaki are another sign Boruto losing the connections and being pulled towards Kawaki, the boy who we now know is at the center of Boruto losing those same connections he was running from. Now we know why Boruto was running, because those same people that used to be friendly faces are actually hunting him down now. The anime opening where we see Boruto running and crying and distraught as he's running through his memories and his father's fading away in front of him. Boruto's father right now is currently sealed away, and just as Boruto was alone in that opening, Boruto's currently alone right now. There have been nuggets layered throughout the story, teased with that plot twist that was coming. Some were in your face, some were very subtle like the anime openings and lines from anime only episodes, and others are in the Shinto mythology used for Amado and Kawaki for their motives and the actions themselves. I don't think anyone who's calling this a pool that's being made up out of thin air is giving the story enough credit when it comes to writing. It's something I've said before numerous times, but I also know other Naruto creators such as Swag Kage and Anime Boss Deep agree with me on this aspect, as well as other anime creators like Axel Beats and Masked Man. When you look into Shinto and Buddhism and Asian folklore, you gain a deeper understanding and appreciation for things you see in Naruto's manga, from the chapter covers, the manga volume covers, the ninjutsu being used, the characters, and even the relationships between characters themselves. It's not required in order to grasp the story itself, but those who do look into these things, they start getting a deeper appreciation. They start seeing connections. They make a lot more sense. First and foremost, it's a story written by a mangaka who's Japanese. There are things sprinkled into the story that someone born in that culture will pick up on before somebody in the West. It's why a ton of mangaka reference things from Asian and Japanese culture. To people in the West, it goes over their heads 95% of the time, especially with shonen. As long as they're cool designs and a good narrative build-up and a cool fight, 95% of the time the fan base is drooling over the story and calling whatever series they're talking about peak. And because you start seeing different things that overlap, that's how you get some of the confusion, like people thinking that the different magatamas and tomos that we see in Naruto is something Kishimoto designed. So when someone like Tabata uses it, they say that, oh, he's copying him, when really and truly they're just drawing inspiration from the same thing. However, with Naruto and One Piece and Dragon Ball and Bleach and so many other series, when you dig into their inspirations behind various things in the story itself, that appreciation grows and you start seeing how a lot of things are foreshadowed, despite the foreshadowing not being in your face narratively, but it's right there in the background symbolically. For instance, once you start looking into Journey to the West and a lot of the stuff with Sun Wukong, you start seeing a lot of overlap with a lot of shonen series. Anyway, I truly hope this video does give some of you guys a moment where it changes some of you guys' minds who thought that this was a plot twist that came out of thin air. And if you do find this video helpful or insightful, make sure to share it. That being said, click here to watch this Naruto Explained video.